on today's StoryBeat.
Well, I've learnt to absorb every kind of constructive criticism. I used to be quite resistant to it, but I've learnt to absorb constructive criticism, and it's a very important skill in life, I find. Don't just throw people's advice away. It could be very good for you.
This is StoryBeat with Steve Cuden, a podcast for the creative mind. StoryBeat explores how masters of creativity develop and produce brilliant works that people everywhere love and admire. So join us as we discover how talented creators find success in the worlds of imagination and entertainment. Here now is your host, Steve Cuden.
Thanks for joining us on StoryBeat. We're coming to you from the Steel City, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My guest today, Alexandra Hainsworth, is a British-Australian pop artist distributing directly with The Orchard, which is a subsidiary of Sony Music. Her last single, Fighter, hit 1.46 million Spotify streams. Collectively, Alexandra has over 330,000 social media followers. Alexandra is an animal advocate for Four Paws Australia, and she has postgraduate qualifications in psychology. She's also now a novelist. Alexandra's evocative debut book, Kingdom of Flight, details a dystopian vision of Earth's last remaining island. Victor Paul is the co-author of Kingdom of Flight, which is published by Austin Macauley Publishers in London. So for all those reasons and many more, I'm delighted to welcome the multi-talented Alexandra Hainsworth to StoryBeat today. Alexandra, thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
It is really my great pleasure. So let's go back in time to your roots. You've been singing and performing for some time now. How old were you when you first noticed music and that you had an interest in it?
I was about 5 years old, and I was in front of an immense audience singing A Whole New World, the Aladdin song, and um, and I got a standing ovation for a charity event. And I think that really was a special moment where I realized I must have been doing something right.
Especially at that age, you were a very small young
Yeah.
girl. How did you understand it at that point? Was it because the accolades were so loud?
I think the audience was, as audience can be tough, but I think it's the passion. It's the passion that burns inside, and you really just want to express it. And I was just doing that at 5 years old. So.
And did you truly realize at that time that you had special vocal ability?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
You did. At what point, singing beyond that, did you think to yourself, you know what, I really am good enough to become a professional? Was it early on?
Well, that happened. That happened later on in adulthood, and it was something that was a bit hidden away for a long time, and then I brought it out in a big way, and it was for a long time it was dormant though. I put my academic life first, which I don't regret. It's something that I hold very dear, and that's my studies in psychology. And then, I think after that, though, once I finished my postgraduate diploma, I wanted to branch out and bring out something in me that had been laying dormant for a long time.
So I think the listeners should absolutely pay attention to what Alexandra's just said, which is that her education was at least as important as the performing part of her life, if not more so for a time.
Absolutely.
I think that that's really incredible because not everybody thinks that way, and I agree with you. By the way, I think that the education is at least as important. Did you have formal singing training at some point?
I did for a short time, maybe about a year and a half, where I just honed in on the skill and sharpened what I had. And
Hmm.
that was around the time I was doing a lot of live performances, weddings, events, this kind of thing. And I wanted to get better. I'm always interested in sharpening my skill set. So
Are you still performing live?
yes and no.
What does that mean?
Okay,
Explain.
so I'm not as much as I'd like to, but I'm in the works. I'm in the works to do it more. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, you've got, a lot of followers, and also you've got lots of material out there in the world. So I would assume that there would be a place for you to be singing where people would come see you. Um, your work falls in, you call it pop music. I think of your music as definitely pop, but also it has a really great, many of your songs have a really great club dance beat. Is that intentional?
Oh yes, the core of my music is pop, but I always branch out into different genres. So you'll see in my work EDM, electronic dance music. You'll see a bit of jazz. You'll see a bit of soul. I have a country song. I branch out into different things. I've got house as well that I've dabbled in, and it's because I want it to be versatile and interesting for all you listeners.
So you have a varied taste in what you want to sing. What draws you to a song? What brings you to a genre or a song?
Well, if anyone listened to my liked songs on Spotify, they'll see everything from
Mhm.
classical to, dubstep. I'm very
Yes, indeed.
varied with it. And I think there's so many beautiful parts of music. You can appreciate so many different types of music. And I guess what draws me to songs and music is that regardless of what's going on in your life, you can kind of get lost in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you find that as your life is unfolding and as things feel a certain way to you, you're drawn to different types of music? Is that how it works?
Oh, definitely. And I feel that that's for everybody, isn't it? You're in a certain moment in your life and you listen to certain music, and then you go to another chapter of your life and you might be more drawn to a very different type of music. And it really depends on what you're experiencing at the time, for sure.
So for you, I'm going to ask you a question I ask lots of guests.
Mhm.
It's a not necessarily an easy question, but for you, can you define what makes a good song good? Good enough for you to work on?
Hmm. I'm very deep, so I want the lyrics to mean something. I want it to bring something that's substantial. I don't like music that's just for the sake of it, for just to bop around. I feel, and that's how I feel as a songwriter. I think songwriting should have this message that you're trying to put across.
Well, I think that that's actually quite excellent because many pop songs that we're talking about pop are just fluffy. They're
Yeah.
not, they really don't have any depth. And
Yes.
your work doesn't. Your work has some depth to it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Do you select your music with the audience in mind? Are you thinking about them or is it mostly to appeal to you?
It's a story. So it's definitely for the audience, but it's also, I guess, drawing on my own life experience and the message I want to bring. So I guess it's both.
Do you write your own stuff too?
Yes, absolutely.
Is everything that I've listened to, because I've listened to quite a few songs on Spotify, is everything written by you?
So there are some co-writes in there, but not a lot. It's primarily just myself. I mean, there have been a certain stanza or a certain part of the song that was co-written, but primarily, I think if I could put percentage-wise, it'd be like 95% me.
95% you, and you write both music and lyrics.
So I write the melody line, the singing portion, and I write the lyrics, and then I have a music
Hmm.
producer that I work with. So I've worked with many different wonderful music producers from all over the world, and it's been this wonderful experience of just drawing on different talents, really across the world.
And on what do you compose? Do you play an instrument?
I'm not a composer. I'm only a singer songwriter.
So okay, so take us through that process. Do you hum the melody out? How does that work?
So it can happen in different ways. So sometimes it'll be that the producers come up with an idea and then I start writing to the music. But in other times, I have completely just come up with it on my own without any music whatsoever. And then they come in with something that would suit what the vision is. So it can happen either way.
All right, but you don't play an instrument. So how do you communicate the song? Just by singing a melody? How does it work?
Yes, all vocals. So it might be as simple as just singing into my phone.
Wow.
the way I want it, the way I vision the song.
So you hear it in your head and don't really have, I guess, the ability to play it on a piano or guitar or whatever it would be. You're just humming it out. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all voice.
It's all voice. And
Hmm.
and then you give it to a producer and they then arrange it. They decide, I'm going to suggest this sound, this tone, these instruments, and then you're making decisions in joint collaboration.
That's right, and that's where the collaborating comes in as two creatives. How do we create something beautiful, And yeah, that's pretty much the process. Like I said, sometimes it can be that the producers come up with an idea,
Hmm.
and then I work with that. Okay, this would be this lyric, this way melody line is going to really suit what you just come up with, and yeah, like I said, it can go either way.
So, I have a feeling I know what the answer to this question is going to be, but I certainly want to explore it anyway. When I listen to you sing, I can tell that you love what you're doing. It comes through. And so I'm wondering, how much does passion for the music factor into how you perform it?
Oh, it's everything. It's absolutely everything. It's critical. It's the reason I sing in the first place. Is there's the fire in the heart, the passion, the the wanting to put the message out. I'm a personal believer in God, and I believe in purpose, and I believe that's why I'm here. And so I'm very passionate about my being here, and my being here is to put out a message, and it's in singing, because that's what I've been given.
Well, that's for sure. Do you think of music as a calling?
Yes, 100%.
It's a calling. Well, for many creative people, that whatever their discipline is, they feel that it's a calling as well. And I'm always interested in when people feel that way. It's not just job or work or something. It is actually something coming from within them that burns. As you say, it's a burning desire. Is there anything that you do special to find your way to singing in an inspired way?
Hmm. It's very natural. It's not contrived. It's not brought out. It just happens, and it can happen at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're trying to sleep. Like it's one of those things. It's a very organic process.
So you sometimes wake up in the middle of the night ready to go.
Oh yeah, and if I don't, I'll regret it. I'll regret not remembering. The thought I had, the melody I had, and the lyrics. Yeah.
So many people that are writers and artists of various sorts will have some kind of a device, whether it's a pad of paper and a pen, or it might be a cell phone, or it could be a recording device of some kind. Do you have that by your bed so that when you wake up with a thought, you can record it?
Yep.
That's how you do it.
So the phone must be there, and I'm very old school, so I love my paper and pen. My paper and pen is very important to me. Um, I couldn't possibly write lyrics on a laptop, for instance. Like it's got to be a paper and pen. I'm left-handed, so that actually activates the right side of your brain, which is your creative center.
Hmm.
And I think that helps a lot when I'm writing with my left hand. It's activating that center of my brain, and it's bringing out all the stuff I want it to bring out. So
So you don't actually write the lyrics on a computer until after, I assume, you have them written out.
oh, only because I have to afterwards. But
What usually comes first for you? This is a classic question that people ask songwriters. What comes first for you, typically, lyrics or music?
usually the lyrics.
Lyrics.
Again, it can happen in both ways.
Well, of
So
course.
it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I
So
mean,
it-
yeah, it's
Exactly. But so, for instance, if you look at the career of Elton John and Bernie Taupin as songwriters,
Hmm,
it's almost
mhm,
always the words first. And
hmm,
classically, if you look at many Broadway composers, songwriters, it's the words first. And then a
hmm.
composer writes to those words. But it works very much the other way as well. That's why I was curious about how you do it. What you're saying is, and I'm guessing I'll be right, is that they happen simultaneously frequently.
Yes. Yes, and it can happen one or the other as well. I mean, you can have a tune in your mind, and that sounds really good. Okay, how can I put some words to that? Or it might be the message first. It's like, I want these lyrics to fit some a melody, or to fit some notes. So yeah, it can happen either way for sure.
I assume you realize that not everybody has that capability. Yes?
I guess I'm just, just assuming that my brain works the
It,
same as everybody else's, but it
no,
probably
no.
doesn't.
I would say the majority of people don't think of music in their head and they don't think of lyrics. And so that's a
Yep.
special ability that you have. I think that's, I'm glad you take advantage of it because you have it there. I think if you didn't take advantage of it, it might make you feel a little crazy. So getting that
Yeah.
out is a good thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it was stuck there, yeah, I go a bit bats, a bit crazy, so needs to come out.
Once you have an idea about how long does it typically, I know it's going to be varied, but typically how long does it take you to then finish writing a song? Is it usually fairly fast or does it take you a while?
For me,
Yeah.
it's quite rapid. It's like bam, 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 bam down on the page. I either get it in the moment or you lose it. And that's why it's so important to like commit yourself to your idea. No matter what the time, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you need to get it down on a piece of paper.
Do you find yourself when you've got the brainstorm going that if people try to talk to you, you have to go away and get isolated?
Yes, yes, I must isolate myself.
So, but
I must get away from the noise and silence. Silence is such a powerful thing because when you're alone and you're in your silence, that's when you can really bring out what's in your head. So, yeah.
do you know the movie Thelma and Louise?
Yes.
So the woman who wrote that her name is Callie Curry, and she famously once said that she needed to find the quiet enough to hear the characters talking. That's
Mm.
sort of what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. You need to drown out all the noise of your life, all the noise of the people around you. Everybody needs to go away, and you need to yeah, hear those characters of your story. Because I mean, for me, songwriting is storytelling, and as an author as well, my book Kingdom of Flight. You got to hear those.
We're gonna get to Kingdom of Flight here in just one moment. I just want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
finish up about singing and songwriting, which I think is very fascinating to me. Um, do you do anything differently now when you're recording music in the studio than when you first started? What have you learned about recording in the studio?
Stop being so self-conscious. I can like really belt out a song and just really make it amazing when I'm all on my own. And then I had to learn just forget that there's a person there and people. You need to just do what you were doing in the first place. So yeah, I had to stop being self-conscious and just get on with it.
Is that because, forgive me for asking this, but is it because you're shy, or when you say self-conscious, what does that mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was always a shy kid and I'm still shy, surprisingly.
Well, are you shy when you get on stage when you do perform? Are you shy then too?
I transform. I do this interesting thing where I go from shy little girl that I've been my whole life to performer, and I've been told that there's a transformation, and there really is. There's you get that you're in your element, and again you just forget that there are people there, and you tell your story and your message.
You know who else goes through that is famously is Beyonce, who changes
Yeah.
from apparently a fairly reserved, quiet person to this other character of hers called Sasha Fierce.
Oh yes, I think I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean I think that that's not uncommon, or I should say it straightforward. It's fairly common for performers who are known for their intensity to actually not be that intense off stage or off camera. Um, so when you are producing a new song, do you start with a goal in the studio to arrive at a certain sound by the end, or do you go into the studio seeking to find that sound?
No, I go into the studios. Neither of those actually. I've got it all figured out before I hit the studio. The message is clear in my head. The intention is there, and all I got to do is bring it out. And like I said, I have to forget anybody's there. I have to pretend I'm on my own, and bring it out with the best intensity and passion that I can.
So, how do you then psych yourself into having nobody there? What do you do?
It's just a very disciplined mental process, I guess. You have to be very disciplined with yourself and remind yourself why you're there, what message you want to bring to the world, and how important that is to
Hmm.
to me, I guess. And yeah, once you're in that mode and you're just like, this is why I'm here, this is my purpose, this is my why I'm alive. I've got to get on with it. I've got to make sure it works and make sure it's good. And make sure my listeners can feel it and relate to it and be a part of it.
So many performers have, and writers and producers and directors have what's called imposter syndrome, where they go in and they feel, why are people thinking I'm any good at this? And then they have to overcome that in order to do their work. That's not what you're going through, is it?
I guess to some degree, yes.
To
I
a
mean, you
degree.
you always second guess yourself. I mean, for me, I'm always trying to be better.
Hmm.
So I will be critical of myself, and sometimes too much. uh, so again, you got to be disciplined, and you have to be like, right, look, just focus now.
You're not alone in that. That's not unique to you, you know. Lots of people have
Yeah,
that issue.
yeah,
It's because all the spotlight suddenly turns on you when you're in the studio or on stage or wherever it is. The whole spotlight turns to you. So not everybody likes that, and you have to overcome it. And I think that sounds like what you're talking about. Am I on the right track there?
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there is an imposter syndrome element, definitely.
Listen, I've been in the business for decades, and I still have it. So it's not unusual at all. So okay, I'm curious. What do you do to prepare yourself when you're going either into the studio or on stage? What do you do to prepare yourself vocally? Do you have exercises you do?
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. You must warm up your vocals, otherwise it's not going to
What do
come
you
out the
do?
way. Just very very simple R's and O's, and yeah, just really warming up. Cup of tea, critical.
Cup of tea.
Yeah, warm up those vocals.
That is very British of you.
Oh yes, it is. It is.
What would you say are the bigger challenges that you face when you are recording? Is it overcoming the shyness, or what are the other challenges that you typically face that you must overcome?
I think trying to find the balance between reading the lyrics on your page
Hmm.
and being inside the moment. Um, I always have my lyrics there just in case, but I know the song inside out. So it's trying to find the balance between reading the lyrics on the page and then being in the story and getting the vocal out. So it's a very delicate balance. I mean, you can't just be there just reading it and then just not getting into the moment. So yeah, it can be difficult at times.
Oh, I imagine it is. Would you say that your prep to get to the studio or to a performance requires many hours of working the song, memorizing, getting the notes right? Is it many hours, or are you real quick study?
You need to know your song inside out.
Hmm.
You need to know it back to front. You need to be so familiar with it so that when you do get to the studio, you're ready to go. And that's always been my way of doing it. Once I'm in the studio, I've been preparing for this for a long time.
So it takes you quite a while to get yourself to where you really feel like you know it.
Yeah, yeah. You got to be disciplined enough to almost get sick of the song.
Well, does that ever happen? Do you ever get sick of the song before you record it?
No, actually, no, I don't.
No, I wouldn't think, because it's all fresh at that point.
Yeah, yeah. I say that, but yeah, no, I don't ever. Never get sick of it.
And you're not your thing is not to sing standards or existing songs. Your thing is to create new work. Am I correct?
Oh, I can't get enough of the greats and
Oh, is that right?
the standards. Oh, I mean, I'm constantly singing, Whitney Houston, Shania Twain, Tina Turner. I can't get enough. Yeah, they're full appreciation music, not just my own.
What do you think you've learned from them? Who do you take the most from, do you think?
Hmm. Probably Celine Dion.
Oh, that's a high bar.
Yeah, because she really is. She's like this gold standard, and who wouldn't be in awe? The way she can just command that stage and her talent. She's a huge inspiration, and so is Whitney Houston. I mean, you can't get past Whitney Houston. So
Can you think of anything that they do that you have aspired to? And I'm talking about technically, specifically. Is there something that you try to use or you've learned from them?
I think it all comes back to passion.
Hmm.
And when I see that passion in another vocalist, it makes me excited. I really admire it a lot, and I like the fact that it seems to come from a deep place, and that's why I identify with. I mean, for instance, Noah Kahan, if that's how you say it, Stick Season. I mean, that's just what a passionate song. What a beautiful, beautiful, passionate song. And yeah, like I said, I get excited when I see other passionate artists.
For the listeners, I think that that's something for them to consider to listen to others, to learn from them, just like you do, and to take from them that kind of passion. Otherwise, it might come out technically right, but it won't have that heart.
Mm, absolutely. I think like what you said before, some pop is very empty.
Mm.
And it's not the way music's supposed to be, in my opinion. You're supposed to be putting out a message, supposed to be trying to do something good for the world. There's that much bad, you need to try and do something good. And that for me, what music is trying to bring a bit of light in, a bit of brightness. And well, that's what it means to me anyway.
I think that that's a marvelous thing to do. So, all right, let's talk for a moment about your new book, which is called Kingdom of Flight. Are you able to tell the listeners what it's about? I've not had the privilege to read it yet, but tell the listeners what it's about.
Kingdom of Flight is based in the year 5000, where humans are no longer here. We have completely vanished, and the new dominant species are birds. And so it follows along a story of survival, camaraderie, loyalty, and environmental change as well, because it's based on the rising sea levels have catapulted the planet into chaos. And so there's only one island left on the planet. And birds are the only ones that have really managed to survive, apart from other very small species. But the dominant species are birds.
Is it that the island is actually the top of a mountain?
Yeah, it's a highland. It's a highland that managed to save its peaks above water.
And where did this idea come from? I mean, it's a fantastic idea. Where did it come from?
I had the privilege of working with Victor Paul, so it's a
Hmm.
co-written novella, and he told me the rough skeleton, the rough idea, and he liked my short stories that I've done, and he said, "Do you want to get on board with this? Because I've got this idea," and I'm like, "That sounds incredible! Yes, yes, and more yes." So we put our heads together and came up with what is now Kingdom of Flight.
Hmm. Has your ability to write been with you since you were a little girl as well, like you're singing?
I think my writing came more about high school time.
High school?
Yeah, where I wrote a lot of poetry, a lot of short stories, and I was heavily into English literature, Great Gatsby, and The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. This inspired me and got me really into writing. Yeah.
And so how long did it take to write the whole book?
Whew. It was a long process because we had a lot of creative clashes.
Oh,
um,
the collaborative process.
yes, yes. But, that's what makes it so great. You can find
Sure.
whatever you want in Kingdom of Flight because you've got two people who totally think totally differently. So you're going to get this multifaceted perspective. And I think that's why it's quite special.
So let's talk about that process. Victor says, I have this idea. You say that's a great idea. You decide to work on it together. Did you sit down and draft out an outline and develop characters? Where did you start?
Yeah, that's right. So you start with a skeleton. You start with the main characters, and then you extrapolate from there. The new characters come in, new scenes come in. It's like a growing process, I guess, from the core into, like, I guess what I would explain to be like a instead of a little sapling, it becomes a big tree.
Oh, that's
So
it. Well, that's how it works. You build it piece by piece. It just
yeah,
doesn't a book doesn't just happen in a day. It takes a
no.
little while. How did you develop your characters? Where are these characters based on as birds?
These characters, so some came from Victor and some came from myself. And
Hmm.
that's the other really fun part of it, is that he had a certain idea how he wanted certain characters. And then I had ideas about how I wanted my characters and how can we fit them all together in this story. And I feel we did a pretty good job. I feel that the characters work well together. And like I said, they're so different that you get a multifaceted view, not just one view, but many views.
All right, so you've got these characters. They're all birds. They're not humans. Do they
Oh
do
yes,
they talk? Do they talk like humans?
yeah, yeah. What's the word? Anthropomorphic,
Anthropomorphic,
like the Lion King.
like the Lion King. Got it. And so,
Yes.
as you were developing these characters, do either of you draw? Did you draw anything out to give you imagery to look at, or how did you figure out what they look like?
Only the front cover, and what you'll see on the front cover is the eagle, the crow, and the owl, and these
Hmm.
are the main characters. I drew them out together and how I thought they should be presented, and but apart from that, no, there wasn't any other drawings apart from that. That was kind of where it started with these three, which is Zoltan, who is the eagle, Nero, who is the crow, and Okomo, who is the like an elder, who's the owl.
What kind of message are you hoping that the book sends?
Loyalty, friendship, and an appreciation for life itself.
Especially since there are no humans left. That's a little bleak when you think about it, since nobody's
Yeah.
left.
Oh, we stuffed it up. We stuffed it up, and there's no more humans.
Yeah. Well, there are days when I think we're headed that way.
Mhm.
It's a little scary sometimes, but I still have hope. I have hope that humanity will survive what we're doing right now.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
did you use an editor on the book?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes. We had an editor. Our publisher did a tiny bit of tweaking here and
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
and not a lot though. Like it was just tiny little sprinkle at the end they wanted to do. So yeah.
Did you receive notes along the way from anyone? Did anybody say, "Hey, what if you did this, that, or the other thing?"
Yeah. Yeah. A few notes. Yeah.
And how did you take those notes? How did you absorb them? Was it easy for you to absorb them?
Well, I've learnt to absorb every kind of constructive criticism. I used to be quite, what's the word, like resistant to it. Um, but I've learnt to absorb constructive criticism, and it's a very important skill in life, I find. Don't just, throw people's advice away. It could be very good for you. So,
This is such an important thing that you just said, and I want the listeners to really pay attention to what Alexandra just said. It's really important that you listen to what others say, even if you don't agree with what they're saying.
mhm.
I found that sometimes notes in my career that I've been given, I didn't like, I couldn't figure out what to do with, but frequently they led me down some other direction that made things better.
Mm.
Taking the notes are really important, which is why I asked that question. What is it that you enjoy most about writing? What do you enjoy about the process?
I think it was a real break away from music. I had to challenge myself. in a very different creative way. And I got to the point where I had headaches. And that's when you know you're really working hard. And I was like, okay, well, I'm really extending myself here. I'm really, really getting out a different part of my creativity. And it was a very enjoyable but difficult process.
It is a difficult process for, I think, most writers. Some writers, it's a piece of cake, but most have a tough time because, you've got a blank screen that you have to overcome or a blank page. And
Mm.
that's what they call the tyranny of the blank page. It's very challenging.
Oh, it's daunting, yeah.
Absolutely daunting. Did you have deadlines? Did you work against a deadline of any kind?
Um, no, funnily enough, we didn't have any deadlines. We just worked as organically as we could and as fast as we could. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, definitely no deadlines. It was trying to make it as perfect as we could get it.
Hmm. So you say it took a long time. Was it months, years? I'm just curious.
Kingdom of Light was 3 years in the making.
3 years. That's also not uncommon. That it frequently happens that way. So we talked a little bit about your collaboration with Victor on this. So would you go back and forth with pages? How did this collaboration work, or did you do most of the writing just based on conversation, or how did it work?
So I would work on one chapter. He's working on another one.
Got it.
Split up the work, divide and conquer.
And then did you hand the chapters off to each other and you would do revisions?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So once I'm done with a chapter, he'll go and grab that chapter and do what he's going to do with it. And then we look at it again. It's I mean you look at it so many times to make sure
Of
that
course.
it's what you want it to be. Yeah.
And,
Hmm.
and so there was a lot of revision and a lot of rewriting then.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the story itself didn't take 3 years. I mean, it's just that it took 3 years to get it out because we had some issues with various things.
What do you believe makes a good collaboration then work? What worked?
What makes a good collaboration work is really being a good listener.
Hmm.
If you are not willing to listen to what they have to say and really listen, then you're really not going to grow as a writer. And so it's really important to listen and to absorb.
I think that's true for all kinds of things, but in particular in artistic collaborations or partnerships, if you're not listening to each other, it's really not going to work very well, I think. I assume that in the history of the world, there have been partners and collaborators. Well, Gilbert and Sullivan famously didn't talk to each other, they just gave each other stuff. But most partnerships, because I've dealt with that too in my life, you have to have people that listen to each other. You don't have to agree with each other, right? But you have to listen.
Mm, absolutely. And so you have to compromise. Like what we found was can't have it all my way, can't have it all his way. So you've got to come to the middle. That's life as well, you know.
So let's talk about Four Paws. What is that? Tell the listeners what that is and what your part in it is.
Yes, Four Paws Australia has a very sweet part of my heart because what they're going and doing out there is protecting these poor innocent creatures from these cruel environments that they're in. So this could mean chickens, it could mean dogs, cats, goats, cows, elephants, tigers. And recently, I did a campaign. I helped with a campaign to ban fur sales in Australia because there is a terrible, cruel farming industry that needs to be stopped. And I'm very proud to be a part of that because I've been an animal lover since day dot, and it's a very important and a good thing to be part of. I feel
What are the big challenges that are confronting animals in Australia right now?
the deforestation is terrible. Our koalas and our kangaroos and our wombats, they're under threat. And yeah, there needs to be more done about this, and more laws surrounding the protection of these forest areas.
Hmm. Is it a climate issue or is it a people issue?
Oh, it's people.
It's people
Hmm.
because they're doing all this destruction to the animals and to their environment as well.
The deforestation is just happening at such a rate that the wildlife just can't sustain, can't keep up. So it's very important that we as a society get together and say, no, there needs to be limits around this, there needs to be boundaries. Otherwise, we're going to wipe out everything precious to us.
Well, that seems to be a big issue all over the world right now. Is are we going to wipe all
Mm.
these wonderful environmental things out? And let's hope that we don't, because it wouldn't be good for us. And then we'll wind up with a planet that's we'll just have an island in like
Yeah,
Kingdom of Flight,
yes. And we won't be here.
and we won't be here. Is right. I do want to chat with you for just a brief moment about your work in psychology. Obviously, you have a degree in that, yes?
I do, yes. So I have a degree in psychology and I have postgraduate qualifications as well. I have a graduate diploma in consultancy psychology.
I'm wondering, have your psychology studies helped you in any way with your music?
Yes, because understanding people is critical, and psychology is all about what makes people tick. And I think understanding myself better, because during my psychology studies, I understood better where I'd come from and the way I think. So yeah, absolutely, it was all part and parcel of how I now express and understand myself.
I assume it's sort of the same answer for being a novelist.
Yes, again, your creative expression comes from an understanding of yourself, and your understanding of yourself comes from, well, for me, academic standpoint of psychology. And psychology, it really makes you like analyze where you've come from and why you do the things you do.
So, all right, what new songs inspire you today? What are you inspired by?
All My Love, Noah Kahan. It's romantic, it's clever, it's fast paced, it's just great.
And does that then help you to evolve new music?
Yeah, because you get inspired by people who are getting it right,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you want to then extend yourself creatively, and yeah.
Well, I've been having just a wonderful, fascinating, and fun conversation for not quite an hour now with Alexandra Hainsworth, and we're going to wind the show down a little bit. And I'm just wondering, in all of your experiences, your many experiences, are you able to share with us a story that's either weird, quirky, offbeat, strange, or just plain funny?
Yes. So I was in the studio narrating, because I'm a narrator as well, narrating Angels Can Love by Victor Paul. And it's a very serious, very heartfelt, deep, and meaningful story. And so my tone needed to match that, and I needed to be in the zone. And so there were many scenes that needed that level of seriousness to it. And one of them was when the main character, is going through a low point, and dealing with alcoholism. And I'm supposed to say, and strewn across the floor were cans and whiskey bottles. Right? That's what I was supposed to say. This is what I said. Strewn across the floor were cans and winky bottles. And
Winky
my
bottles.
winky bottles, yeah. My sound engineer just cracked it and he saved it forevermore.
There's nothing better than malapropisms, which is that what that is. Uh,
Yeah.
I love those. That's just wonderful. So, final question for you today, Alexandra. You've already shared throughout the show an enormous amount of very valuable advice, but I'm wondering if there's a single piece of advice or a tip that you like to give to those who ask you, what should they do when they're getting in, or maybe they're in a little bit trying to get to another level.
Authenticity, if I could put it in one word. I think there's too much falsehoods going out in the world today, and if you're going to do anything properly, do it authentically and genuinely. Everyone's got their strengths, and you need to work with that. And don't try and be something you're not. Be who you are.
I think that is really solid, sound advice, and that really makes you the artist that you are. Is to be sound on yourself, so
Hmm.
you're not trying to imitate somebody else or be like somebody else. It's from your being.
No, I'm far too crazy to be anybody else.
Well, that's what makes you you. If you're far too crazy, join the club.
Yeah, yeah.
There's lots of us out there. Alexandra Hainsworth, this has been a lot of fun for me, and I can't thank you enough for your time, your wisdom, and for just being the artist that you are. I thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. What a great conversation. Thank you, Steve.
And so we've come to the end of today's Story Beat. If you like this episode, won't you please take a moment to give us a comment, rating, or review on whatever app or platform you're listening to. Your support helps us bring more great Story Beat episodes to you. StoryBeat is available on all major podcast apps and platforms, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and many others. Until next time, I'm Steve Cuden, and may all your stories be unforgettable.